Europe is talking about taking a toll on the U.S. markets. Gemma Godfrey is head of research at Credo Capital in London, which has $1.3 billion in assets under management. And we've been talking about it all morning, Gemma, and that is that we're sort of transfixed with watching the bourses over here, and it's hard for us not to trade lower based on what's happening in Europe. It's not normally like that, but would you agree it's like that now?
Exactly. I mean, I think there's a huge disparity at the moment between what the investors think is going to happen and actually how the banks are preparing themselves. So obviously the markets are still being driven by the banks, but if you look at Greece, there's a 93% probability they will default. You know, they've missed their deficit targets. The economy is going to contract by 5.5% instead of 3.8%, which was expected. And now the European ministers are even coming out themselves and saying that there may be technical revisions. Basically, bondholders will actually suffer larger losses. However, if you look at the banks, if you look at BNP, SocGen and Dexia, they've only written down their bond holdings by about 21%, whereas obviously we're looking at that potentially falling to about 51%. And that could wipe off about €3 billion worth of value.
I saw someone trying to explain what's happening in Europe. It is hard. It's a little bit inscrutable for us over here. Would you say that the continent is just sort of delaying the inevitable for Greece and trying to maybe bolster the banks or strengthen the bank, get a little recapitalization going before they recognize the reality of where these, the Greek bonds are at 40 cents on the dollar?
That's exactly what they're doing. I mean, the term that is being used constantly over here is kicking the can further down the road. It's a case of waiting to take the pain later. Obviously, the flaw with that is the longer you wait, the worse it gets, because as we saw, I mean, Goldman Sachs just downgraded their forecast, their growth forecast, and actually we saw German retail sales come in at, it fell about 4.3%, versus we just thought it was going to stagnate. So the situation is getting worse. It's going to be harder for them to battle. And exactly that, there's no clear plan. They're just sending out a lot of political rhetoric, hoping that, as you said, behind the scenes, they can shore up the banks, they can try and stave off any contagion, but actually they're making the situation worse.
You're a quantum physicist, Gemma?
Yes, by background, yes.
So the Nobel Prize was awarded today for these guys, I guess, that we're looking at quantum, the expansion of the universe through exploding stars. It's out already. Did you see that today? Are you up to speed?
Well, the story that I thought was interesting was when they awarded on Monday, which was yesterday, the Nobel Prize to somebody without realizing the person had already died.
Yes,
so there's
Friday.
A bit of a lack of...
On Friday for medicine. Okay, I have one other question, and then we got to go. Is the latest notion that these neutrinos went faster than the speed of light, is that going to be flawed? Is that because we need to rethink everything if that's true, right?
True, there are a couple of solutions potentially. For example, there's a theory that we live in 26 dimensions, most of them on a scale that we can't even see. And so one of the theories is that neutrinos actually traveled in a different dimension, meaning they traveled a shorter distance, so didn't exceed the speed of light. I mean, there are all these theories still coming out.
That's what I was thinking. So I don't know what you were, 26 dimensions or 17 countries. They're both hard to, 17, it's like herding cats. Thank you. I had to go there. Quantum physicist.
She is a quantum physicist.
Thank you.
Weren't you interested in? They closed down the one week.
I felt very bad for this family, though.
Oh, for the one on Friday.
The family that finds out that he's going to win the Nobel Prize at the funeral, and then he can't get the Nobel Prize.
No, they're going to let him keep it. They're going to let him keep it because it was given in good faith. It can't be awarded posthumously, but it was given in good faith. And then he passed away on Friday of pancreatic cancer, and he was treating himself with some of the immune.